The Champions League round of 16 first leg officially kicked off today. And look, for all these 4 games, it's just a matter of staying in the tie. Liverpool in the early match, Galatasaray away, stay in the tie. Don't lose by too much. Newcastle hosting Barcelona, stay in the tie. Can you nick a win? Can you just squeeze a win? Atalanta against Bayern Munich, stay in the tie. Same thing for them. Can you squeeze a win? Unlikely, but can you do it? Spurs away at Atletico Madrid, can you stay in the tie and just sneak a result? And I think we saw 2 of those latter teams, Atalanta, Spurs. I think, sorry, I think it's over for you. But for the other teams, Galatasaray, Liverpool, Newcastle, Barcelona, is very much up in the air. But we'll start with Newcastle and Barcelona. Now, when they first played each other early in the tournament, Marcus Rashford was the story of the tie, right? The story of that game. He didn't play today. He didn't start today. It was Rafinha on the left-hand side. And you saw a very weakened Barcelona performance. A Barcelona performance that they just, in the first time they played each other, people were saying, oh my gosh, Pedri's the best player we've ever seen in St. James's Park. We've never seen such a quality player, Barcelona did not play to that same standard in this game. I think knowing that half the team was on yellow cards, half the team could not play with the same intensity, with the same pressing, with the same kind of endeavor that they usually play with. And also the fact that the last couple of games has been kind of tasking for Barcelona, right? Obviously, the trying to come back against Atletico Madrid through a 4-0 in the Copa del Rey, and then again against Athletic Club Bilbao in the weekend, struggling in that game, yet Lamine Yamal eventually getting the winner. Going into this game was a perfect time, I think, for Newcastle to play Barcelona, right? You're not going to have the same energy that they've had for the last couple of weeks. You're not going to get the same production of Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. Press them, attack them, and just go guns blazing. Hopefully you can get a 1-0, maybe even a 2-0 win. Take that to the Camp Nou and just park the bus and hope for the best. And for all that Newcastle did in this game, all the pressure they put on Barcelona, all the attacks, all the times they got in behind, to only get that one goal and to get that goal at the end of the game from Harvey Barnes is so disappointing. You needed more than that. Even if it was just 1-0 going into the second leg, you needed more than that. And it didn't even matter because Barcelona get that penalty at the end. Lamine Yamal gets the goal, ties it up 1-1, and now you look at that second leg away at the Camp Nou, and Newcastle they look pretty much screwed. Because I anticipated that if they could get a 1-0, maybe even a 2-0 win, a 2-goal win, that would be the only way they could go through in the competition. And that penalty at the end killed them. I think Barcelona thoroughly got outplayed for the most part. You saw such poor performances from the likes of Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. Lewandowski was terrible. Fermin Lopez was terrible. Bernal, you can see that he's not ready for this level yet. He's not ready for this quality of opposition yet, right? Against maybe the likes of Elche and Girona, and yeah, he can hack it. But against the likes of Newcastle, eventually maybe the likes of Arsenal, no, he's not ready yet. And it's no shame in that. He's 18 years old. There's no problem with that. But I think Barcelona defensively played very, very well today. Barcelona usually don't keep a clean sheet. I mean, obviously they didn't, but they concede so many quality chances. And I think today they genuinely kept it very, very tight. They generally kept it tight, and they generally played a very, very safe brand of football for the most part. I think because of the energy levels expended over the last couple of weeks and the games that they've played, they couldn't play with the same intensity. They couldn't play with the same aggressiveness that they usually play with. So I think for them, they're even looking at it thinking, man, 1-0, we can survive that. If you can score 3 against Atletico Madrid and almost come back from 4-0, then 1-0 should be no problem whatsoever. But obviously they get that goal and it changes the entire complexion, because for Newcastle, you put in so much energy into that first leg and it got you nothing. So now that second leg is going to be extremely, extremely brutal. For Bayern and Atalanta, I look at that game and I think to myself, from the word go, Bayern destroyed Atalanta. Possession, shots, Olise in the first 10, 15 minutes, him and Luis Diaz, they were having a field day with Atalanta. It was just so easy. such a cakewalk. And the fact that you can go home to the Allianz Arena and just basically rest your entire team. There is no chance in hell Atalanta can score 7 against Bayern away from home. Some things have happened crazy in the Champions League before. It's not happening today. It's happening next week. It's over. It's just over. So credit to Olise, credit to Diaz, credit to Gnabry, credit to Nico Jackson. That entire front line, Musiala even comes on, gets his goal. I was watching this game and the Barcelona game on a simultaneous cast, and just every time I looked at Barcelona game, chance missing, looked at the Bayern game, goal. It was just that simple for Bayern Munich today. And it's just going to be simple for them again in second leg. I think they're just going to cakewalk that second leg and just put Atalanta out of the misery very, very quickly. But in the early game, Liverpool losing again to Galatasaray. And I think you have to look at that first 5-10 minutes of that Liverpool game and think to yourself, this is exactly why Liverpool are just such a poor team. They're so poor. They first of all, they don't play good football. But even when they press well and they get opportunities, they're so lacking in quality in the final third. They just miss chances. Florian Wirtz today, you could have had a hat trick. Poor finishing on several occasions. Ekitike, anonymous for the most part in the final third. Salah, again, another terrible, poor game. Szoboszlai, not really giving much to the team. It's just a poor performance from this team. You look at it defensively, Joe Gomez played a very good game. I think was the best defender. Him and Van Dijk were very good today. Kirkez, not really anything. Yilmaz didn't really press him like he usually does. Yilmaz is usually an aggressive player, dribbles a lot, uses his pace in behind. He didn't really do that too much today. Mamardashvili didn't really have too many saves to make. It wasn't really an outstanding Gala performance. It wasn't a good Liverpool performance either. It was really just a run-of-the-mill 1-0 first leg kind of victory, right? But Liverpool, I think, will be very happy with that performance because that performance will result. Because you know now that going to Anfield, you just need one goal. Galatasaray have been very, very poor away from home in the Champions League. The 5-1 to Frankfurt. I think they've out of the 5 games, away games, they've only won 1 or drawn 1. They lost to Juventus. They lost to Monaco, I believe. Was it? Yeah, they've lost 4 games. That's basically the point. So, going to Anfield, you can be confident that you can get a result and crawl it back to 1-1, and then from there, Galatasaray, what they've shown in terms of not being strong away from home, you can bank on yourself to win that game, maybe 2-0, 3-1 kind of result, and push on. But as a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't bank on that either. I wouldn't bank on Liverpool going through in this Champions League. I think they've been poor generally. I think they were poor today. I think they were terrible. And you just hope that your overall quality can shine through in the second leg, because it didn't show at all in this first leg. Just poor from really everybody on that pitch outside of Van Dijk, Gomez, and Mamardashvili. So terrible performance from Liverpool. Gala, decent performance. I think the goal that they eventually scored is just poor defending from Liverpool. But at the end of the day, just win the game. If you're a home team, win the game. And they did that. Now, I was kind of hoping for a 1-1 draw, or at least maybe at the worst 1-0 loss, and I got that. So I'm pleased with the results. With the result today, the performance was terrible, but I'm pleased with the result. And I think, for the most part, these 4 teams today: Liverpool away, Barcelona away, Spurs away, and Atalanta at home. I think they were the 4 teams that really, really, really needed to avoid a negative result, right? Liverpool avoided a negative result for the most part. I think Barcelona avoided a negative result for the most part. But Spurs and Atalanta, you got cooked. You got cooked. Spurs today were terrible. So terrible. I didn't watch the game, but I watched some of the highlights, and they're just such a bad team. Kinski in that first 30 minutes, those errors are unforgivable. You basically gave Atletico Madrid 2 goals just from your errors. And for him to get hooked at 17 minutes is just a damning indictment on his career so far at Spurs. And honestly speaking, this was not the game to bring him in. If you had doubts about Vicario, you weren't confident with Vicario, you should have hooked him early in the season and played Kinski more. I think Kinski is generally a better keeper. I see when he did at Prague last season, he's been generally a decent keeper. in European competitions, he should have played more. Bringing him into this environment and this game, I think was a mistake from Igor Tudor, and they look even worse under Tudor than they did under the previous couple managers. Under Frank and under Postecoglou, they look even worse under Tudor. So Spurs, Atalanta, I think it's good riddance for you. But Barcelona, Newcastle, Galatasaray, Liverpool, there's still a long way to go. The second leg is going to be very, very interesting. I do think Liverpool will win the second leg. I do think Barcelona will win the second leg. And then we see, kind of what happens from there. But very, very interesting day in the Champions League. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace out.